let's move on to the third topic that we have today. So the third question would be, what do you see as the main benefits or the most rewarding part of your job, and what would be the most challenging that part of working with GIS in your industry? How do you like having GIS intersect with your current industry?
I think the biggest benefit for me is that I'm getting to provide a completely new perspective for a lot of the different groups I'm working with. GIS is not something that's been really used much at Southwest at all. And there's definitely no spatial analytics in the company. So it's very cool to be on the cutting edge a little bit in industry and to get to bring that wealth of knowledge with me. But that can come with challenges because a lot of times when I'm talking to people, it's really hard to explain things, especially like basic GIS principles, basic geography principles. I'm having to put together like a mini series to teach some of my coworkers who aren't familiar with GIS practices and help them kind of learn these skills. It's also hard too because we have not had any GIS software here. And so trying to explain all of the cool things I can do if I have GIS software when I was trying to advocate for purchasing Arc Pro was really hard because I didn't have anything to use to be like, look at this cool map I made. I was trying to do stuff in Python to demonstrate what I could do because I couldn't use outside software, which was helpful, but it's still kind of difficult to make pretty maps that are really appealing to executives and business leadership because they like to see pretty flashy stuff. Um, I think also another challenge is in an industry where GIS is maybe not as prevalent, you're constantly going to have to be finding interesting ways to express GIS data and explain it to people who are unfamiliar with it at all. And so, like cluster maps, for example, I did a demo on doing like a Moranzi and a Lisa for some basic data and having to explain that like color does not mean that it's good or bad. A lot of the like associations that people tend to have with visualizations or maps don't necessarily align with what the actual spatial analytical tools are trying to say. And so having to put that in layman's terms can be kind of difficult, especially for people who are not really data people at all. And so I really encourage you, if you have the opportunity to learn how to like practice saying things to like a fifth grade level, that's really good practice for communicating people who aren't GIS people, especially leadership and people who are more business minded. They're really smart. They just don't have the same level of experience as us. And so you have to be able to put this in really small, bite sized knowledge bits for them so that they can understand and they walk away being able to explain the same principles. So
I think the benefits and the challenges, they're both, this could fit in both of those categories. That it's GIS is like foreign to most people. So they either don't know a lot about it or they do know a lot about it. But either way, it kind of like that's what makes it hard. That's what makes it easy for me as well, too, because it is like a lot of this stuff is new to them. So even some of the simplest things that I'm able to provide GIS wise is like next level. It's amazing, which I really like enjoy seeing people enjoy it. On the other side of that, it being foreign, it being not something that comes second nature. It's not like a Word document or an Excel for some people. It's hard for them to get into it and bring it into their daily workflows. Um, and sometimes when you're creating something, you're like, is this even going to get used? But you always find like the one or two people that do see the benefit in it and they get a lot of good out of it, which you always enjoy. And then slowly the others like will start trickling in. That's what I've seen kind of working with it. It is hard. Like I started here maybe 2 years ago at an engineering company that's strictly engineering. Their GIS team was small and really just like a helper position that I need a shapefile, I need this. The GIS team's got it. But now we're expanding a lot more and we're providing whole community viewers. We're helping outside clients with projects. Like we're becoming our own department, which is really nice. But that first year was trying to get people to see the benefit of it, trying to really explain to them the processes behind what we do to get them invested in it. Explaining more about like what does it take to digitize a plan set, what kind of like process do we go through? Like, how does this data actually get here? How can we confirm a lot of it? Getting them to understand the work that we're doing so that they feel more comfortable giving us more work. And then with the work that we give back to them, making sure it's correct. I think the first thing people always say about your data, if it's wrong and you're trying to show them something new, is that's wrong. So you're really making sure you're double checking everything, that your processes work, that you check your viewers through and through. So that's like the benefit and the challenge. But I think I'm at a point now with this company and the work that we've provided here where a lot of them are liking how easy some of the things that we create makes their day to day. They don't have to track things as much. They look at this dashboard and there's all their information that they get. It's like ramping up pretty quick. So I really see it like just kind of shooting for the stars there, but it's cool. But I think we're all at a really good spot of like GIS being foreign is a good thing because we're just like, we can do anything with it. We can create anything. We can show all of like the skills and tactics that you know. And then it's so creative. It can be so analytical and so number based. And then it can be, I'm making like a silly map for a fair that's coming up. One of my favorite projects is we have Santa maps that we have to make. Santa goes around town. And we have to make a map of like all the zones he's going to hit. It's a super simple map, but it's like gives us a chance to be creative, put Santa in there and some reindeer and like use all the different tools that we don't regularly get to use in Pro. That's like one of the main benefits for me. Even like some of our engineers will walk by and they'll like see what we have on our screens and it's like colorful and it's charts and graphs and all this cool stuff. And you look at their screens and it's like line, black screen and just numbers. And it's like, it just gives a little bit of a break to the day when you can kind of be a little creative, but still have the analytics behind it, which is pretty nice. But yeah, so that's what I enjoy a lot about working in the GIS industry. I think a big challenge here, especially being like solo GIS manager at an engineering firm, is I don't have a lot of other like GIS professionals here who have gone through like a lot of schooling, maybe like have the same experience or can like discuss things in a way I needed sometimes, or even just like relate to some of the issues I deal with. That can be some of like the challenging parts of it, but you find groups where you can kind of get info from other people like you guys are doing today. So it's pretty nice there. You can always find like the community, which is cool. But yeah, thank you.
Yeah, a lot of benefits and challenges that Jordan and Julia touches actually also. I feel it the same way. Look, slight difference like in forest field. Surprisingly, it's like even though it's a very traditional field, GIS or broadly geolocating and also remote sensing is not a foreign topic here. So didn't feel a huge amount of disconnection because when we talk to clients, to our forestry contractors, to our landowners, I can comfortable referring to shape files rather than tell me where your property is located at like that. Because like they're the first field of crew that utilizes GPS and working tracking and survey the ground. So they're pioneers of like pre-GIS realm. And so, but with that, it's all very fundamental uses of GIS on just pinpointing locating locations rather than actually analyzing it or expanding what the power that the potential it has. And that's where I think the benefits come in, and is the fun of just utilizing the information, compile them together, run a bunch of analysis, like just a DEM, a simple DEM layer, a raster that you found, has so many potentials and so many hundreds, if not products that can be derived just from a single layer. Through analysis. And another point is with the modern technology, I think I remember when I was still in undergrad, like remote sensing is like the super highly advanced technology that you probably won't touch for the rest of the life, that kind of feeling like it's like spaceship. But now like remote sensing is so common. Like if you want to buy it, or any like Sentinel data or anything like is fairly affordable, and also it's very accessible for the time series. And also other big firms are doing a lot of world elite, like if not like national or world level imaging services, which I found like be a huge benefit, that it opens the door that there are a lot of more details, or maybe even too fine screen details. Like sometimes the data is too high definition that it kind of like have a hyper regression than what I needed. So I don't need to see every pothole on the road, basically. But it just like opens door and allowing to do a more further analysis that can really cut people's side or kind of revamp our ideas. Like for example, the stream service layer that we've been using to delineate the SMZs. We used to get that from NHD data, which NHD is turning into 3D EP, and now we're just deciding like where our actual rivers flow, like based on our understanding of the terrain, which is actually it's very like fulfilling when you actually hit the ground and see the creek and say, I am correct. And the rest of the data sources are inaccurate, which like that's a huge achievement. That's like, wow, you can really make it work. However, the challenges comes with this, with all those high tax and also the broader uses like GIS now, I think, I mean, it's a term, it's also a buzzword that's running here and there. There are just two main groups. Like there's still a bunch of group that is, I call them like remote sensing deniers, which partially is correct. It's like they thought like remote sensing is not accurate enough or does not catching the things that you can see on the ground. So they prefer more on the ground, boots on the ground style operations. I mean, specifically in the forestry field, that remote sensing may not be able to detect or be biased. But their stance, usually those people are fairly like in higher age group more than the executives, limits our ability of pushing hard to say, here are actually opportunities that will be missing if you do not give my access. It's like your a senior group doesn't approve you buying an advanced license. It just limits your opportunity. And without that license, I cannot model what's going on or what the opportunities would be. But without the opportunities, I cannot persuade them that just buy me the license or buy me the product. So it goes in that loop. And on the other side, there's a bunch of GIS, let's say, hyped people group that think GIS or remote sensing can solve everything, which goes in another. Sometimes we have to spend a lot, like after presenting, making a huge, really great map, presenting a really great case, and it just impresses them. And then they start making ridiculous or unrealistic requests on using GIS and remote sensing to achieve, like using remote sensing to figure out the underground like soil carbon or like below canopy thinning operations. Like even with the human eye, I cannot even do that. It's like what how can remote sensing do it? Or just it's like then you have to explain it to them like realistically what it's able to achieve, like limiting the scope. It's have to spend a lot of effort there rather than in school or in a working group that people knows how things are going. But it all connects with the communications and presentations. So which I think is a huge part that we didn't got trained a lot in school, especially in classes when everybody doing that the same. Like you don't got to train on how to communicating those or how to presenting those or how to. It's like statistics, like how to make those spatial projects tell the story you want to tell to the right audience. It is still something that we're keep improving and learning as we go. But yeah, I consider that one of the biggest challenges and also one of the opportunities in the future. Given like we already have our foot in the field, so we know what's going on, rather than starting from scratch.